it's asking me to do. Here we go. It's setting up your meeting. Okay, I'm going to do a quick intro, Bobby, and we'll get to you, okay?
Okay. Right.
I love you, buddy.
I love you too.
You're live.
Okay, we're live, folks. Hi, this is Wendy with New Bern Now, and I'm with Jane Malucci, right over here, and Bobby Waters, and we're here to celebrate Earth Day in New Bern 2020. It's the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, and we want to have an open-minded discussion. We're not getting into politics or anything. We just want to talk about how what local resources, nonprofits are available in our community, and how you can learn from them and find out ways you can make little changes in your daily lives to make a difference to protect our planet. So with that said, Jane, you want to take over?
I guess it is left to me. Hi, I'm Jane Malucci, and Wendy recruited me yesterday to work with her on this. And I'm really excited to do this with her because, you know, our environment is, of course, where we live, and we want to take care of everything. And fortunately, our first guest is Bobby Waters from the Coastal Environmental Partnership. And now some people have heard of that and some people haven't. So I'm going to ask Bobby to describe exactly what that means. Tell us about that.
Okay.
Bobby.
The Coastal Environmental Partnership, we are the regional landfill for Craven, Pamlico, and Carteret counties. My office, I'm coming to you live from the Tuscarora landfill. And we've got trucks on the scales, just bringing in trash load after trash load. This is where all the garbage comes. We take very good care of it. We have a subtitle D lined landfill. So the garbage does not penetrate and get into our drinking water. And we have a facility on site where we take methane gas, or the landfill gas, take the methane from it, and they make electricity out of it.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Very cool.
That's really great. So you're part of the partnership for all of the landfills in our Craven County area as well?
Well, Craven, the landfill itself is in Craven County, and we have a transfer station in Carteret County and a transfer station in Pamlico County. And all of the trash ultimately comes here. And believe it or not, with this stay-at-home order, we're actually getting more trash than we were before. We take in about 692 tons a day.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So how much of that is recycling versus trash?
Well, we don't operate any of the recycling program. So by the time it gets here, it's really too late for the plastic bottles and whatnot. But we do take yard waste and make the most wonderful compost out of it.
Oh, that's great.
Completely organic, $10 a ton.
A penny a pound?
It's less than a penny a pound.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
$10 a ton. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a deal. Wow.
It's dirt cheap.
It's dirt cheap.
It's cheaper than dirt.
Yeah, it is.
So how do people get that? Do you have to be like a contractor, or can it be a homeowner?
A homeowner, anybody can come get it. You can get a dump truck load full, or you have to buy $1 worth. You can bring in little containers and in the trunk of your car, and just get as much as you want.
Wow, that's outstanding. So I'm thinking that you're kind of an unsung hero with everything that's going on right now, because you are one of the essential groups of people that are keeping us happy and healthy. And as you say, it's interesting that trash has gone up. Does that mean that all the other trash, the restaurants and all, we're sending it somewhere else?
Maybe coming out even. I'm not sure. Construction has gone down.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But as an example, our director went to pick up dinner the other night, at his local restaurant, and he noticed inside that they were painting the walls and doing some reconstruction in there. So
Ah,
it's kind of, it's different, but it's not,
right.
if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the best thing that we can do at home to make life better through our garbage?
Well, recycle.
Hmm.
Um, we have Craven County's got the big 96-gallon containers
Yes.
that go out every fourth week. Don't use as much. Reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's the 3 R's.
Right. I think I found that since we're staying home and we're eating in, um,
Mhm.
that I'm being more conscientious about the leftovers and how far they're going to go and planning ahead. Part of that, I think, is
Right.
also that we have more time. But I've heard some
Mhm.
terrible statistics about the amount of food that we waste just
It's
because we're
horrible.
not thinking.
It's horrible. It really is horrible. And there's we waste so much food. I hadn't even put out a percentage.
Yeah,
Uh, it's sad because there's so many who don't have food,
right,
and we waste so much,
right,
and
right.
just needs to be a connection. Yeah, yeah. Wendy's wait.
I just want
Hey,
I just want to add to the 3 R's. I noticed last year when we were doing the actual real Earth Day, there was a rethink and refuse before that, where you rethink about what you're going to buy, or like anything, and
right.
then refuse to buy single-use plastic bag, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you make great points, and yeah. So
Mhm.
just want to add
Yeah.
a little bit to that. So
Thank you so much. Are
thank
you in
you.
the Croatan?
Uh,
You look like you're in the Croatan,
yeah, I'm
Wendy.
hanging out in the Croatan, disappearing into the woods.
yeah. And I'm at Fort Macon, so
Oh, okay.
You look awesome, our dear friend. We missed you,
Ah, thank
Bobby.
you. I
Thank
miss
you
you
for
too.
joining us. Yes.
Thank you very much. Happy Earth Day, everybody.
happy
Happy
Earth
Earth
Day.
Day.
Thanks,
All
Mom.
Woohoo.
right.
Yay. Have a great day.
You
And
too. You gonna turn me off?
uh I'd never turn you off. Actually, I think I don't know how to get into the waiting room. I apologize,
Okay.
folks. Jane, do you know how to do that?
How about I do this?
Oh, she's gone. It's like magic. All right.
I think Dr. Glasgow is in the waiting room, but I don't see him anymore. How do I? Do you know?
I think right now you and I are the only ones in the meeting.
Well, he wasn't. He called in. Well, I'm not positive it was him, but
Right.
I put him in the waiting room, so I don't. But I don't see a waiting room. So, Dr. Glasgow, if that was you calling in, can you please call in again? I apologize. We missed that. I don't know where the waiting room is. I'm so sorry. I just got Ethernet 3 days ago, learned Zoom 2 days ago, and this is why, and asked Jane and all the participants to join us to celebrate Earth Day. So I really appreciate everyone's patience and for participating. So yes.
Well, one of the great things about doing these Zoom meetings is, of course, we are not expending the energy to hop in our cars and drive somewhere. To get 5 or 10 people together for a meeting is a big impact on the earth. And I think it's kind of neat that, due to circumstances, we're forced to do this. And maybe that's okay that we stumble a little bit as we try to learn this new technology. I think it's still wonderful that we do still have the opportunity to connect and communicate with each other and learn great new things because we're all connected through this marvelous internet. So
Yes.
it's kind of cool.
Very true.
Yeah.
And I'm looking. Where's the waiting room?
So Earth Day was started 50 years ago. I find that astounding. And I know that when it was started, because I can remember those days, that people thought it was kind of a weird thing. Why do we have to have an Earth Day? And it was really just the nutty, crunchy people who were interested in it. But I think that it really took off And I know that one of the reasons why I got so involved in thinking about the earth and the ecology was because I had one of my sons come home from kindergarten with seeds. And he said, Mom, if we plant these seeds, we can feed people. And I was like, oh,
Oh, wow.
great. Now I have to plant a garden. Because you can't tell a 5-year-old, oh, I'm too busy to feed other people. So we started an organic garden, and it was a great opportunity for my children and I to learn and to understand our impact. And I think that's one of the ways that the message about the ecology has gotten through to adults is because of our kids and because of the young people who say, no, we learned in school that you need to have something that's recyclable, or we need to carry a regular water bottle like your stainless steel bottle rather than a plastic bottle. And that,
There you go.
it's these little things that we can do. And of course, we've all got reusable mugs for our coffee. But I do think that it's the kids learning it and teaching it to us, not exactly shaming, but pretty close, where they make you stop and think, okay, this is something that we really need to do. And of course, Greta Thunberg is a prime example of somebody who really has brought the message home. So when did you
Yes.
start getting involved in recycling and all? Was it during your Navy career or before or after?
I'm just sending a real quick message to Dr. Glasgow. And
Oh, I'm sorry.
Give me 1 second, Kinte.
Sure. Of course, the military, the Marines have been fantastic about incorporating solar systems into a lot of their bases for the energy recapture, and thinking about different ways that the military is a positive impact on the areas that they're stationed in all over the United States and across the world. So it's very interesting to see how this technology is implemented in certain areas and how we can expand it into our own homes.
Yeah, that's very true. And actually, I was pretty oblivious growing up to Earth Day or things like that. I joined the Navy when I was young, and as well, you were Air Force. Anyway, when I was on a ship back, I was probably in my 30s at that time. I saw other ships dumping, as long as they were 3 miles into intercoastal or international waters, they were dumping furniture to just all kinds of stuff overboard. And that was a huge eye opener for me. Wow. And ever since then, I just kept trying to learn, and anything I could do to make a little, to make changes in my life. But yeah, so there's a lot out there. And, I'm not talking about taking to the streets and what do you call it, protesting or anything like that. Some people do, and then that's what they enjoy to do. But if we just each do a little bit at a time and educate ourselves, then maybe we can help educate other people. So
yeah. I know. You got somebody on the line?
Dr. Glasgow, I'm assuming that's him. Hello?
Hello, Wendy. This is Tom.
Thank you, Dr. Glasgow. I think I disconnected you somehow. This is my second time on Zoom. So thank you for calling in. I really appreciate it. We're here with Jane Malucci. So
okay.
Yes, we're glad you're here. And Wendy and I were just talking about the different ways that we got introduced to recycling, and thinking more about the environment. And one was through gardening, when my son came home from kindergarten with seeds to plant. And so I was really excited to understand more about the Craven Cooperative Extension Service and how you work to help us be better at taking care of our environment.
Okay, well, excuse me. Quickly, I should mention who I work for, and it's a little different from most agencies. We are employees of NC State University, and it is the NC State Extension Service or NC State. Now it's been changed to NC State Extension. So things evolve in that regard, but we also have county partners, and of course we are heavily funded and supported by Craven County government as well. So we're more or less 50-50, you might say, and when we carry out our work, we're representing both the university and local county governments, without which we would not be able to function at the county level. And our work is educational. We are representing the university and its resources at the local level. In terms of environmental issues, all of us are working in one way or another to help people find solutions to questions and problems in an environmentally friendly way. Yeah. So our livestock agent, Katie Carter, who is primarily Jones and Craven counties with some assignment in Pamlico County, a lot of what she does is to help animal producers do their work in a way that they can remain certified and that they can minimize environmental impacts. Mike Carroll, our agriculture agent, who handles traditional row crops like soybeans, tobacco, cotton, peanuts. A lot of resources are put into those crops, and so Mike is oftentimes finding ways to minimize and target needed pesticide applications or fertilizer applications. In my role with horticulture and turf, I'm working with a pretty large, you might say, general public audience. And environmental protection runs underneath everything that I do, because a lot of people are concerned about pests, as one example. Yeah. And we work really hard to encourage people to never even use a pesticide unless a problem has been properly identified. And that might seem so obvious as to not even be worth bringing up. But the truth is that a great percentage of pesticide applications in the home landscape are made before the problem has been identified. And consequently, we see a lot of damage to beneficial insect populations. We see a lot of times an insecticide being applied to a disease problem, or pesticides being applied to problems in which chemicals are going to be of no use at all. So we're trying to work with people to use the science that's available to identify the problems or challenges they're facing and find the most environmentally and, we might say, economically efficient way to address those issues. And that's a lot of talking and rambling on, but I hope that's an introduction for you.
That was a great introduction.
Yes.
You really covered all the bases there. That was super. So now, when you talk about the homeowner, I noticed that in the newspaper, you're frequently giving us great tips about how to better care for our plants and identifying everything from the insects to the diseases that are impacting different species of plants.
Yes.
What's one of the best things that a homeowner can do when they're plotting out their landscape?
A site analysis is critical, and we need to be honest about the wetness or the dryness of a site, the amount of shade or sunlight we're dealing with. We need to be thinking more in matching plants to a site. We need to be thinking more about mature size.
Yeah.
If we're lucky enough to be in our homes 10 to 15 years, or in my case now, my wife and I and our son have been in our home about 20 years, close to it. Things change. They change significantly. You start losing turf area to tree growth and maturity. Shrubs start closing in on each other. Things change in terms of air movement and a lot of other things. So if you're looking at a site, you need to be honest about some of the characteristics right now. You've got to do the same thing as 5, 10, and 15 years pass by. Things will change, and you may have to make some changes along with it. most common example is people fighting an uphill battle to keep turf grass growing where it looked great 15 years ago, but now it's way too shady and there are surface roots that are being hit by the mower and so forth. I do want to touch briefly on the idea of plant selection. We need a diversity of plants is what's really important. A lot of the problems we see, especially with privacy screens, result from picking one cultivar or species and going with it. And if an insect or disease does come in, then you've got the whole planting compromised. So with all of the non-native invasive insect species and pathogens that have come into the country over the past 20, 25 years, we see more and more the importance of a diversity of species within our landscapes. So we need to select plants that will actually grow in the conditions that we have, but we need a very good, healthy diversity of species and cultivars, different genera of plants. For example, an oak is in one genus, a maple is in another. You know, splitting it up among plants that aren't even related to each other, and that's our best hedge against having depredation from serious invasive problems. One of the most controversial issues of the past 20 years plus has been, do we use only native plants, or can we use a mix of native and non-native? And really, even the science is pointing towards this. Strict adherence to natives only is not going to give us enough options to do the things we're trying to do. And so we can preferentially go with natives whenever possible and to whatever degree possible, but we don't want to lock ourselves into a natives only paradigm, because that's going to tie our hands in ways that, might not be evident at first.
Sure. And then there are some concerns about some non-native invasive species. So those are the ones I would think you don't want to include in your landscape.
Yeah, that's a serious, serious issue that is really starting to overwhelm us. To be honest, that's going to be one of the biggest challenges, I think, in this century that we've just started off, is the damage done to native plant communities by these non-native invasives. We just did not have the awareness as a society here in the United States, and you can say elsewhere in the world also. We did not have an awareness of just how bad some of these plants would turn out to be once they got a foothold in our forests. So there are a lot of plants that are a problem, and the list is growing. And I would encourage property owners and property managers to invest time in that issue. Go to reliable websites such as the NC State University has a website titled Going Native, and that site includes a listing of the really troublesome invasive plants, as well as a lot of good native plants you can use, and other good science-based sources to help us identify and to help us control. This is going to be all hands on deck kind of challenge, and this is for forest managers, for homeowners, landscape professionals, everybody, I think, needs to be aware of things to be looking for and trying to remove at every opportunity.
Yeah, that's great. And again, can you give us that website address again?
The Going Native, if you just do a web search, Going Native, and make sure you attach NCSU to that, then that'll take you to the site. And of course, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I said that's super. It's just great to have all these wonderful resources.
Right, and science-based.
Yeah.
I want to stress.
Yeah.
Right.
People that can really help you.
Yes.
Can I ask some?
Oh, yeah.
does anyone on social media, our Facebook page is live right now, and does anyone have any questions for Dr. Tom Glasgow? Anybody? There's like a 16-second delay, so we'll just
Okay.
carry on and we'll see what happens. So,
Okay.
I know that the plantings where I live were put in the 80s, and some of them are
Right.
invasive species, and we are working
yeah.
to get rid of them. And I really
That's good.
appreciate it because we worked with you and your staff to look at how we might be able to better plant the whole area. So I really appreciate all the information that you can get from your office. It's marvelous.
We're glad to hear that.
Yeah.
and Dr. Glasgow, I didn't realize that out at the NC Cooperative Extension where your office is, that you have a garden, and you also offer tours and you do workshops is it the third Saturday? Although I'm sure they're kind of on hiatus right now, but you offer so many different fun services to our community.
Well, thanks for mentioning that. We have a large group of Master Gardener volunteers who are responsible for holding all that together, and they are not happy about being kept away from their projects right now. But you're right, the office is officially closed, and we're not doing public meetings, and we're not, per county government instructions, having people congregating out here and so forth. I do want to make a footnote. This building is actually the Craven County Agricultural Building, and that's to acknowledge this county-owned property. That's part of what the county does for us. And, other agencies that are housed out here, they provide a business address and a place for us to work. And the extension office is just one of 3 different offices out here at the Ag Building.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, and there is a question from Carol Osler. She'll be joining us soon, but can you comment on planting longleaf pines?
Get a good sunny location, decently well drained, because they do grow on those pine ridges, those sandy ridges out in the Croatan National Forest. But the efforts to plant longleaf pine are certainly very exciting, and to see the interest that's increased over that over the years. Wonderful tree, and I think everyone who can plant one has a space for it. Great thing to see in terms of conservation. Croatan National Forest and the NC Forest Service and other entities are working to reestablish as much longleaf pine as possible, and to through controlled burns and other means to maintain those communities. And I think it's a great thing to see longleaf pines coming along. A couple of interesting aspects. They may be slightly more wind sturdy than the loblollies, and I believe they are definitely more resistant to fusiform rust than are the wild seedling loblollies. Fusiform rust being a pretty damaging fungal disease that's very common on loblolly. So longleaf pine, a wonderful tree. Good to see them planted.
Great.
All right. Whoops. Sorry.
Is there a place to get seedlings for those, or just go to your local nursery center?
Depends on what you're interested in doing. The North Carolina Forest Service does have a couple of physical nurseries, locations of nurseries in the state. The closest one to us is in Goldsboro. And if you were to do a search on the web for NC Forest Service nursery, then you would be able to find their catalog for the year. I think now that we're in April, we're going to have to wait until the fall before digging season starts again for them. But that's a way to get large numbers of things like loblolly pine and a number of other natives in small sizes, but in bundles of 50 or whatever. And that could be a good neighborhood project to purchase a bundle or two and distribute them across the neighborhood. That's as cheap as you're going to find them. And I think longleaf may not be the easiest thing to find on the commercial market, but you can look around and check with garden centers and see if they carry that, or if you work with a landscape professional, perhaps he or she has a nursery source to get some larger ones in.
Great, great.
And
Thanks.
thank you. And we have one more question from Colleen Roberts. How can we live in harmony with carpenter bees? They drive me crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's really difficult. The good news is it takes a really long time for them to do significant structural damage, so they're almost more of an aesthetic pest than a real pest. But if you want to control them, it's important to do two things. You've got to do both. You've got to apply the insecticide up into the hole, and you've got to plug that hole. Otherwise, they adjust pretty well and they keep coming back. For further details, NC State University does have a very good information note on controlling carpenter bees. You should be able to find it simply searching for carpenter bees NCSU. It should come right up. If it doesn't, you can contact our office.
Great.
You always have the answers, and we really appreciate your time today, sir.
Thanks so much.
Well,
is there anything
thank
else?
you.
Do y'all need volunteers or anything? Like when we get back to the new normal, can people volunteer for you all?
Well, the volunteering is done through the Master Gardener program. We had planned to have a new class starting mid-September of this year. Now we're, of course, having to watch and think and make a call at some point. But that is the best way if you wish to be a volunteer. Otherwise, if you have just questions about specific things or specific volunteer events, whatever, you can give us a call at 633-1477. Do a search for Craven County Extension on the web, and our office will come up, and you can contact people that way.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Glasgow, and have a wonderful day and stay safe.
Thanks. You as well. Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, we have a lot of people watching here, and we have 1 minute before Katie Hunt joins us. She's in the waiting room. I think that's what it's called. I can see it now.
Very good.
I've been looking at the wrong camera for probably the first half of this. So if you're wondering why I'm glaring out into space, okay, we have shout outs from Colleen. Happy Earth Day. Bunch of our friends are watching. Thank you for tuning in. And Mike, Happy Earth Day from the Carolina Nature Coalition. They'll be joining us soon. And that's as far as we have for comments. So please, as we have the guests on, please feel free to type your comment in on Facebook, and we will try to get them answered for you. So.
Yeah. Give us your questions. We'll see what we can do for answers.
Yeah.
We'll just make something up, worst case scenario. Well, you know.
No comment. Okay, where's my mouse here? Okay, let's see. Are you ready for Katie?
We are ready for Katie.
Okay, let's see. Admit.
All right. Did you lose her? Come back, Katie. There she is.
Are you there? Yay.
Yay. All right, we've got a little delay there. There we go. She's live and in color. Hey, Katie.
Hey, Katie.
Can you hear us? Katie is connecting to audio. She's in. All right. Open up her mic. Your mic is still off, Katie.
There we go.
There we go. Now we're good.
I think
Zoom has been treating me very poorly all day today.
Well, you look great, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, thanks.
thank
There
you.
you
Wearing
go.
my
There you
special
All
sounder
right.
pedal and everything.
All right. Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day to y'all and to everyone watching too.
Yeah, this is
Yes.
great. Thanks for joining us today. Wendy is such a wizard. She put this all together so that we would be aware of Earth Day, as we should be all the time. And so,
Yeah.
Katie, I am vaguely familiar with the River Keeper, so please explain your whole River Keeper to us.
Absolutely. So I am Katie Hunt. I am your Lower Neuse River Keeper. I work for the organization Sound Rivers, which is an environmental nonprofit that seeks to protect the Neuse and Tar Pamlico river basins. In our organization, we have 3 river keepers, actually. Myself, based here in New Bern. Matthew Starr is your Upper Neuse River Keeper. He's based in Raleigh. And Jill Howell is your Tar Pamlico River Keeper based in the Washington area.
Wow. So that's a lot of area for you to cover.
It is roughly about a quarter of the state's landmass. About 23% of North Carolina is actually covered by both of those 2 river basins.
Wow.
My goodness.
Wow.
So yeah, we really spread ourselves wide there.
So tell me what your job is as the river keeper. I mean, it sounds very romantic that, you can just stand there and say, yes, that's my river. But I think there's a little bit more to it.
Our river.
Our river.
But it is kind of my river too. So it's actually really kind of hard to give a nice tagline job description for a river keeper, because on any given day, we wear so many different hats. We are scientists, we are advocates, we're educators. We kind of do a little bit of everything from, like I say, advocating and trying to get people involved and, aware of the issues that are taking place. Anytime there's a bad environmental bill up on Jones Street, or if there's something good, we try to let people know, hey, this is what's going on and this is what you can do about it. We also, and that's kind of some of the more abstract, I guess, involvement that people can do through, writing letters and signing on to comments, etc. But of course, there is the much more hands-on work that everyone can do and help out with. Each river keeper typically has about 2 river cleanups, one in the spring, one in the fall. Clearly, our spring cleanups are not happening this year, unfortunately. Yeah. But to kind of combat that, we have a lot of supporters who have already reached out to us, who were disappointed that there was no organized cleanup. And they have taken it upon themselves to clean up their neighborhoods on their own. So we've created the hashtag River Quarren Cleanup.
That's awesome.
So we've been encouraging folks to, obviously follow all of the guidelines for social distancing, etc. Stay safe, protect yourself, protect others. But, if you're going out for a walk to get some fresh air and just to get out of your house, bring a little grocery bag or a trash bag and pick up trash, throughout your neighborhood, or walk along the riverbanks or creeks, even the ditches on the sides of the road. And, just help pick up that trash that is always collecting there. Take some photos, use the hashtag, tag us. And we've actually already had several people, send us some great photos, including a young Boy Scout who decided to do river cleanup as a service project for a merit badge.
Wow.
And he had some, really fun, interesting stories and pictures to go along with his project.
So actually, I would say, Katie, that you're actually the voice for the river.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I seek to be the voice for the river, but also, as cheesy as it sounds, the voice for the people of the river too. I want to stand up for the river because it can't for itself. But also I love talking to people and hearing their concerns, and hearing also what are their favorite things about being on the water, or even just being near the water. What are the things that are important to them, and trying to take those concerns and make things happen. If someone's concerned about nutrient pollution, well, a lot of our work already revolves around that, but trying to make sure that the people are heard as well as the river.
Right. That's super.
So
go ahead.
We have a comment on social media. Christina Martian, sorry. Happy Earth Day, everyone. Been picking up trash along the local waterways, trying to do my part, and hopefully encourage others to help out. River Girl. Hello, Katie. So sorry, I should have warned some readers or something.
That's fantastic. Like I said, we know that there's lots of people who have reached out to us directly to say that they're cleaning up, and we know that there's so many more who are doing it on their own because people care about the earth. They care about their environment, their rivers and streams. And since we're kind of stuck and not being able to do everything that we'd like to, this is something that we still can do and still have a very real positive impact through doing it.
So the thing that comes to mind for me, because people are stir crazy and I think their cars are going to be absolutely spotless. Car washing is a big deal and it's a big impact on our rivers and all. Any suggestions about doing that in the safest way possible?
Trying to choose like the natural biodegradable soaps when washing your car would be ideal. And then also when you're rinsing off your car, it's just probably going to run down your driveway into the street and down into the gutters. And of course, anything that goes down a storm drain goes directly into the river untreated. So, I mean, that's an excellent point about that being a problem. And if there's any way that maybe you can rinse so the water goes into your yard or through the grass, because your, grass, garden beds, anything like that, any kind of permeable surface,
right,
helps to prevent the amount of pollution entering into our rivers and streams.
So that's a great idea. So if you can, wash your car on the grass rather than on the hard surface. Super.
Yeah, or, try and rinse it so the water goes that way. And, along that same line, it's one of those small things that people probably don't really think about when they're doing it. And pet waste is another big source of pollution because it has bacteria, nutrients, and other things that we just don't need in our waterways. So when you are going on your walks to get that fresh air and a different view than your living room, be sure to pick up after your pets and don't just leave that waste there.
It's the right thing to do. Yes, that's... Sorry.
I mean, it's got, there's many benefits to it, but from specifically the environmental side, reducing the amount of pollutants that are just out and readily available to be washed into our creeks, rivers, and streams is, goes a long way to helping because unfortunately the pollutants that are already in our river, unfortunately, they're just kind of there. There's not much we can really do to remove it, except we can limit how much more we're putting in there and try and allow Mother Nature to heal herself.
So what suggestions do you have and how can we reach out again if we're looking to do, that cleanup to help with the rivers and all? And I have to say, I'm a kayaker and one of my kayak buddies, every time she goes out, she comes back with some treasure.
Oh yeah.
She always has a bag and she picks up everything. One time we actually picked up a unicorn, but that's a whole nother story.
We've gotten a couple of strange finds throughout the years of our river cleanups as well. So I guess your question was, what are my recommendations as far as doing that? I think obviously, number one, I really want to stress following the social distancing guidelines to keep yourself and your family and the rest of the world healthy and safe. But really, it's one of those things, there's really no rules. Just go walk along the river, if there's a park near you that's open, even walking down some major roads, there's these ditches that you don't think anything of, but that water actually does make it out into the river. So picking up trash just on your own whenever you see it is a great way to be involved. And I mean, like we said, we have a hashtag if you want to tag that or tag Sound Rivers in any pictures that you might post on your social media about your trash cleanup exploits. And then also, in the meantime, I want to remind everyone that, just because our offices are closed doesn't mean we're not still here working. I'm here in my guest room / makeshift office at home with my 4-legged coworkers who I'm surprised have not interrupted me yet. But we are still here. So you can always reach myself or the other river keepers through either Sound Rivers Facebook page, or we each have our own individual Facebook pages, Lower Neuse River Keeper, et cetera, et cetera. Also, you can always email me. It's lowerneuserk@soundrivers.org. So feel free to anyone who's interested in learning more about our organization. It's soundrivers.org. Feel free to shoot us an email or a comment or a message, or just share some pictures of your awesome corn cleanup activities. We'd really love to hear from y'all, because we're still here. We're still working for you.
Well, I just want to say I really appreciate the last minute request to join us today. I asked you guys yesterday, and here you are today. And thank you so much. I really appreciate all that you do. So
it's truly my pleasure, and I was glad I was able to join in, because I think this is a really fun, neat event that y'all are doing here. I got to watch a little bit of it while I was in the waiting room.
And we're learning every day, so
yeah, I appreciate the invite to be here. I think it's fantastic, and I'm glad I was able to join. Granted, time has no meaning anymore, so
yeah,
I'm here.
What day is it?
Yeah. Earth Day.
I gotta tell you, Earth Day snuck up on me.
That like that. Yeah.
We're all a little punchy.
Yeah, that's my problem.
But I think it's great. Thank you so much for speaking for the river. Thank you for speaking for us. And thanks for speaking with us today, too, and giving us some great ideas on how we can make a difference on Earth Day and every day that we're hanging around the rivers. Thanks so much.
Every day is Earth Day.
Every day.
Oh, wait.
Real quick. We got another question for you.
Got another question. Okay. Katie, is April your double donation?
Yeah, we typically do an April giving match, and we are still doing that. However, of course, with the circumstances and situations, I don't think we've been very vocal about our ask, because, trying to be very understanding.
Here's your chance. Do it.
Send us money, please. Yes, actually, all of the donations that we receive in April are matched up to a certain amount. And I don't remember what that amount is, because we have had other amazing, generous donors increase that match amount. So it's several thousands of dollars now that people have not only donated to, but also increased our match amount. So now's the time. It goes twice as far, your donation, and keeps us in business working for you, keeps me able to be out on the water when I can be, and doing everything I can for you and for the river. So,
and where do we make those donations?
/donate.
Tell us that again.
You can go online to soundrivers.org/donate, or from our homepage, there's a little donate tab at the top. Also, if you're more of a paper and pen letter check, you can always write us a check and mail it to us. Our address is on our website as well.
Great. Super.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Katie.
Happy Earth Day.
Have a great rest of your Earth Day.
You too. Bye-bye. That was fun.
Every day is Earth Day.
Every day should be Earth Day. Yes.
That's right. You got to keep thinking like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so how are we doing? What time? I don't even know what time. Is it 1:56?
Think about this, it's 1:56. So, this is a great opportunity for you to start a garden.
Yeah, I need to, what Dr. Tom said earlier about planning, when the builders planned the house, they didn't, I'm not knocking anyone, but it wasn't planned properly, because I have all these trees coming into the backyard, and there's roots. And so, yeah. So that was very a great tip for new homeowners,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
or builders, or either both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I say, we're replacing landscaping that was done in the 80s, so it's quite overgrown.
Oh, I
We had
can't. Yeah.
I can't believe how big holly plants get. I never thought of them as, being a wall. They're really kind of scary. The
I know
birds love them
I
though.
have a big fat round one, and that was only 15 years ago. So I'm afraid was going to look at 15 more. So
Wow. Yeah.
how big is yours?
Well, we've had to take some down, but some of them are bigger than the decks, so
Yeah.
you've just got these
Crazy.
giant hollies, and everybody's a little afraid of them. Of course they are prickly to start with, but they just have that attitude, like, don't mess with me. And I had to take one out in one area, and the thing had roots and kept popping up in other places because it just goes forever. So if you're trying to get rid of a holly, I have sympathy for you, because they don't go willingly. They aren't happy about it. They will fight you every step of the way. So just be careful.
I have a family of mockingbirds. It's like every 4 months there's new babies just over and over, and it's in the holly bush. So
Yeah.
they're protected. So
Yeah.
I guess that's the positive thing.
The upside is, the birds love the holly bush because it's the safest place to live, but the rest of us, it's a little scary. And don't let them near the car. Do not plant holly by the garage. That's not a good idea.
Yeah, true.
So how's the waiting room?
I don't see anyone. Who's up next?
Paula Hartman?
Paula, where is Paula? She should be calling in. Okay.
Well, in the meantime, I hear you've been tromping in the woods and you were encouraging people to go out and take a stroll.
Yes, I am. And it's not only should you bring like trash, I use the cloth bags.
Yeah.
But you could also, because people dump their trash in the Croatan. I have no idea why. It makes no sense to me. Like
Yeah.
an entire wedding party, like all the what do you call it, tablecloths, and
Oh my gosh.
yeah. So if you're bored and want something to do to make a difference, just drive down the Croatan, down the dirt roads, and you will probably come across trash. And we're going to have the litter pirate on soon, so he'll talk about, I'm sure he'll touch base on that. So, but on a good note, the Croatan, you can drive down one of the dirt roads and just park on the side of the road. If you're afraid to get out, I don't know why you would be. Black bears are not scary to me. They're very majestic, and you may see them walking right in front of your vehicle. Or wild turkeys. Right now it's turkey season until I think mid-May, so be careful.
So wear orange.
Wear orange, yeah.
Yeah.
And just stay on trails. And I recommend walking in if you're going to be hiking, walking at what is it called, Island Creek Park, because there's no hunting there.
Oh, good.
And you could pitch a tent in the middle of the Croatan. There's all kinds. There are bald eagles. There's all kinds of wildlife. Bird watching has become very popular among children, and I think that is fantastic.
Yeah.
So I love the Croatan. As you can see, this is the backdrop of the Croatan, and
I have Fort Macon behind me.
yeah, that's pretty. And that was before the social distancing, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. This was last year. That's why those people are all standing together. This was a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, long before COVID-19, when the world was different.
Yes, it was a much different time. Let's see. I'm looking on our social media. Y'all feel free to chime in. What are you doing today on Earth Day? Are you doing anything special? Lisa Bisbee Lentz, do you deliver? Oh, she's commenting from Bobby. Bobby commented and got get compost from us for $10 a ton. So
Oh, okay.
Lisa, I don't think they deliver, but I have a pickup truck, so give me a call and
They
I'll
might
hook you
deliver
up,
because
so.
she mentioned a dump truck full. So maybe they bring a dump truck for you.
Yeah, maybe who knows? We'll find that out
Call
for
Bobby
you.
and ask her.
There you go.
Yeah.
Give her a holler.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's great. What a wonderful resource. We've got so many wonderful resources for us.
yes, we do. And there's no comments. What else? So Jane, what are you doing on Earth Day? Anything special?
Well, I think probably going to recycle last night's dinner. So that'll be part of it. We'll have leftovers.
I've been eating leftovers like
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good thing, And my Earth Day is really just getting the opportunity to work with you and to talk about the Earth and to see what we're doing here. I think this is a great thing, and to remind people. I mean, when we first moved down here in 2011, we had because we moved from Connecticut, we had our grocery bags, and we would go into the store and people would like, what's wrong with you?
Yes.
And
now
it took a little while, and now everybody's onto it. And it was so funny because one time I was walking out of a store and a young man who I never would have expected would have been interested in my cloth grocery bags looked at me. He had a motor scooter and he and his mom were riding it, which was really interesting. And he was a quite thin but wiry young man, long beard, gray hair pulled back in a ponytail, and looked like he had been working in the woods. And he looked at my bag and he said, "Ma'am, where did you get that? That's a wonderful idea." And I'm thinking, well, there you go. That's when you're judging people wrong, because he was also interested in taking care of the environment, and we all should be. And I told him, I said, yeah, I use these all the time. He said, well, that's a marvelous idea. That would cut down on a lot of trash. And I said, yes, exactly, it does. So
definitely.
that was kind of cool.
Well, and since you're speaking of the hold on one second, okay?
Sure. We'll have a musical interlude now while Wendy goes and grabs her cloth bag. I know I always have one in my pocketbook. It's a little tiny thing, and it folds up kind of like, if you remember those old rain
Can
hats.
you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
we can hear you.
Here we go.
She's got something wild. Look
Here's
at that.
Peter.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a bunch of the bags that were donated to us last year. I still have, I'm guessing, about 50 left. So
Wow.
if you comment on the Facebook or send me an email with your address, I will not share your email with anyone, and we will mail out some bags or arrange drop off for you.
We'll make a connection.
We'll make a connection. Thank you, Jane.
Somehow we'll figure out a way to connect.
Yeah, because they were donated to us, and we want to give them to people that need them. So yeah,
they are the best thing.
Yes.
And then of course now when you're using them, you need to after you've taken them to the grocery store because of the coronavirus, you need to let them at least be in the sunshine or sit in the heat in your car, because that takes care of, it's supposed to be killing off the virus. The virus can't take heat. And of course, throwing them in the washing machine every now and then is not a bad idea either. So
right.
Consider doing that, and then dry them outside in the sunshine if you can.
That's a good idea. It's a great idea. And we have Garrett Biss, and admitting he's joining.
There he is. Well, that's
there
not
he is. Where's your video, Garrett?
I get on the video too.
There we go. Great. Now we can see you live and in color. Happy
That's
Earth Day.
Full color. Very colorful today. How are you doing today?
We're doing
looking
well.
great. Yay.
Great.
I've been watching on my phone like, all right, is it time? Is it time? Shall I join?
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very good. So we've just finished talking with Katie about, the river keepers, and you're on the other side of a water problem, talking about how our impact, what we do, is impacting water all over the world. So give us your quick rundown on that and how we might be better stewards of our earth if we just listen to some of the wonderful things that you're going to tell us to do.
Certainly. Yeah. First, thanks very much for having me on. Thanks for allowing me to virtually celebrate this Earth Day with you. It's a great opportunity to leverage the technology, take advantage of the fact that everybody's home and they have
Yeah.
a few moments to engage and learn. I work with an organization called 1 Million Goal, and we help provide water to people around the world that lack access to it. There's about 1 billion people around the world. So 1 in 8 people to 1 in 10 people around the world that lack access to clean drinking water. It's something that we can take so much for granted here. I always catch myself in amazement when I go on a mission trip or when I'm in a community that lacks access to water, and I'm reminded, oh, last week I was getting frustrated because my hot water wouldn't heat up fast enough when I wanted to take a shower. It's just something that's so readily available to us and that we can become accustomed to. We forget the tremendous value of it. But the truth is, water is the most critical resource, the critical element to sustain life. Once we have air, the next thing that animals need is water in order to survive and to live. But unfortunately, about 1 billion people around the world don't have ready access to clean drinking water. And as a result, it kills an estimated 30,000 people a week because they lack access to it, or they have health complications because of drinking dirty water.
That is so sad.
Yeah. So here in North Carolina, we're pretty good with our water. Our water is coming from the aquifer, though, so that's a little bit challenging too, because it really can't be replenished. So we have to be conscientious about our water use and how we're treating our groundwater, especially.
Yes.
Do you have any suggestions for us on how to be better about that?
I mean, just anytime we introduce anything into the water, it creates complications. You know, some people say, well, how can there possibly be a water shortage when so much of the earth is water? Well, the reality is, once salt gets into water, it's extremely easy to introduce salt and other chemicals into the water, where it can become very, very difficult because of the chemical nature of water to remove those things. So anytime that we don't take the precious freshwater resources that we have, anytime we take them for granted, or anytime we don't treat them in a sustainable way, then it creates these complications. And as more and more of the fresh bodies of water that we have access to become compromised, then this resource, becomes more and more scarce.
Yeah, it's interesting when we think about our aquifer here, because it's quite large in North Carolina, and they are saying, the more people that are here, of course, the more it diminishes. They had a similar challenge in Florida when they built up Florida, not overbuilt, when they built up Florida, and they changed all of the canals and what's the word I'm thinking about, the aqueducts through all the lower part of Florida was a big change, because they no longer had the filtering system to take care of the water and prevent the flooding that would also come in, and also just taking away the water so that it was no longer just providing what was needed for the ground areas. So I think that's something we all have to pay attention to. I know I have a timer in my shower. It's a little egg timer for 5 minutes, so that I try to pay attention to that and stick on that 5-minute thing. And I think being in the military helps with that, because you learn how to take a quick shower, right? All three of us.
Yeah, all three of us know Hollywood showers.
That's right. That's right.
For a number of years, I still had the little, like the naval or the Marine shower head on that just, was very efficient for the water flow.
Yeah, right. Things
and
you have to pay attention to.
And if you want to do something great for your health, I've heard ice cold showers or very cold showers are really good for many systems in your body. So if you want to jump on that and try that, you don't even have to wait for the water to warm up. You just jump right in.
No.
Yeah, well, I'm in.
Yeah.
And also, speaking of heating water, that also is, has an impact on climate change, because you're using more electricity to heat up that water, so just little things that we don't even think about on a daily basis, like turning the lights out. Although, we were probably, I'm not sure about y'all, but I was raised that way with my father, but he was more thinking about, the cost of electricity, but we all should be really thinking about.
Sure. Well, there's still a cost issue. It's just a different kind of cost. We're not thinking financial cost. It's a health cost. And and everything. And you bring up a good point about like heating the water, and so this can become an issue when we don't take care of what we have. Is if it does become contaminated, or the only thing that we have access to is muddy water, things that are contaminated with bacteria and parasites, then heating the water is something that many people have to do. And I get to see kind of like the far end of the spectrum by going to some third world countries or underdeveloped countries or places where their water infrastructure has been compromised, and really see firsthand what the reality is when you can't just go and turn on the faucet and get clean water. You can't just go to the store and fill up, your 5-gallon water jug with purified water. But heating the water is one thing, and then that becomes a health issue in and of itself. One of the things that we found in Nicaragua that we can provide are these very efficient little stoves. So it's just made out of what's the pot material that we make pot plants out of?
No, the pot, ceramic pot.
Ceramic. There we go.
Yeah,
There we go. So ceramic material, but it makes a really good oven, and we can get them for very inexpensive. But what we found was even people that could gather water, but it was dirty, many times they're so impoverished that they couldn't afford to buy the wood or buy something that they needed to boil the water so that they could purify it. So they were drinking dirty water. And then we realized how long it could take. Sometimes it's up to 4 hours before you can build a fire. You have to sit near the water, allow it to boil for a certain amount of time. It can be 4 hours. So that's tremendous economic cost and time lost, because that's 4 hours that you're not out doing something else that you could be doing to provide for your family or community. But these little stoves, it helps boil that water in 40 minutes. So the amount of time that's recaptured, and the amount of time that somebody's not leaning over, burning fuel, whatever that fuel is, and ingesting that, which carries on more complications. And that's what draw me mostly to water, is just realizing the number of complications that are either created or made worse when you don't have ready access to clean drinking water. It's not just a thirst issue, it's a poverty issue. And in many places around the world, it's a child education issue. It's a gender inequality issue, because it's children who don't have the immune systems built up to fight off some of the parasites or bacteria that they might ingest, that end up dying at extremely high ratios or extremely high numbers. It's very often women that are left to go gather the water, so they can't spend that time raising their children. They can't spend that time educating their children or getting an education themselves, so they can go out and get a job and help contribute to the local economy of the family. So there's so many other ways that just a lack of clean drinking water affects the daily life. So that's why it is so important for us to recognize that, because it is a limited resource. And if we ruin the fresh water that we have, or if we don't take care of the infrastructure that we have, then we're not looking for more efficient ways to deal with that infrastructure or help protect this resource, then these are situations that we'll face in first world countries or anywhere.
Yes, right. I totally agree. And Mike says aquifers are replenished, but not fast enough if they are overused. We must be careful of saltwater intrusion, as you all had pointed out. So thank you, Mike.
And that's a big thing with beach erosion. So one of the communities that we've recently served in Nicaragua, they had fresh water, they had wells that they could dig down to. But because of the beach erosion, then they had a big hurricane that was down there, and it brought salt water up past where it normally went, and it got into their fresh water. So now, because they didn't have the natural barriers to deal with those storms, so this is an issue that's integrated or part of so many other things that we've been talking about.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No problem. You must have terrible Wi-Fi in that rainforest that you're in, or in that forest that you're in, sitting in the middle of the. Is that the Croatan you're sitting in the middle of?
It's the Croatan, my favorite place. I just got a message from one of our presenters. So, this is really killing me as far as I don't know what, I've never been so distracted, and I've been really trying to focus on one thing at a time. But in the last few weeks, I've just been really distracted. I'm not sure. Are you all experienced that same thing? You lose track of the days and.
Yeah, a lot of the natural thing, the rhythm things have been thrown off. I was saying yesterday, I was looking to see if it was lunchtime yet, didn't realize it was 5 p.m. and I had already eaten lunch. It's like so much of our normal routines that we use to kind of manage the passage of time and everything that we're doing have been interrupted. So yeah, it is creating some second and third order effects that I don't think many of us realize would create.
Well, thanks for assuring me that I'm not crazy.
No, you're certainly not.
But Garrett, we really appreciate your time. And let me just put a shout out to social media. Does anyone have any questions to Garrett? Anybody?
As you're looking, I really appreciate this opportunity to come on and chat about something that I'm so passionate about. As I mentioned, it's something that affects so many people. And what drew me into this work is realizing how much impact we can make on those people that are suffering around the world just by providing some simple and easy and inexpensive solutions.
Well, Garrett, I really appreciate you agreeing to join us at the last minute with my invitation yesterday. But I really appreciate you. So thank you for all you do, and stay safe, my friend.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Well.
All right, you too.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye, Garrett. Okay.
See ya.
Jane, you ready for the litter pirate? Jane, are you there?
She's taking a walk in the woods.
Jane?
I am. You can't hear me?
I can hear you now. Are you ready for the litter pirate?
Okay. But I am ready for the litter pirate, but well, so at least it's not me. But I do want.
What's that? Jane?
Want to hear from them. I'm here.
You're here? Oh my gosh, who do we have here? It's the litter
pirate at your service. Wow.
Oh, hi, Paul.
So much technology. It's amazing. Well, hello, everyone. Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day. And Paul, I'm not sure if you've met Jane, Jane Malucci, the reactive voice.
Hello, Jane.
And Paul, thank you. Thank you for joining us at the last minute, but I love your uniform.
Quarantine has been hard on me. I haven't shaved for a while here. This has been amazing.
It's lovely.
Thank you so much, you guys, for doing this. This is such a great idea.
That's quite. I don't think
Jane, you're fading out on us.
Yeah, I'm losing Jane.
I've ever had awkward connection.
Are you with us?
So,
okay.
So I thought I'd just talk about litter pirate.
Sorry
for a
about
second,
that.
And then if we have any questions or anything we want to answer, that'd be great.
Perfect. Sounds.
So hey everyone, my name is Paul, and I'm the litter pirate, and I run a local education company. I call it. I'm in Jones County, and I work in Craven County and Carteret and Onslow, and we are a litter education company. So we have our aim is to kind of spread sort of an anti-litter message into the schools by going in live dressed as litter pirates and putting on sort of an engaging and funny and kind of uplifting assembly for students. I go and do them by myself. I have other friends that do them. Also, I always take my sidekick. Can you see my sidekick? It's my parrot. Can you see it? Can you see it?
I can't.
Just kidding.
No,
just kidding. Wendy, you're never gonna see it. My parrot's name is Charlie. My parrot's invisible. Anyways, Charlie and we go into the schools and put on a presentation that teaches kids about how litter affects their communities and the environment. And we teach them about where their trash goes, because a lot of kids and a lot of adults, to be honest, don't really understand the difference between a landfill and littering something on the side of the road. We talk about recycling and a little bit about compost. We're sponsored by stakeholders, basically. So we get funding and sponsorships from like the Craven County Clean Sweep, for instance. So the Craven County Clean Sweep they fund presentations, and then we go into the schools and connect with the schools and put those presentations on. We also get funding from just individuals. So people go onto litterpirate.com and they just donate, they give money, and basically we keep it really simple, and it's basically $1 a student. So if you give $25, that's me going in like this to a classroom and giving a presentation. We also, as a company, we pick up a gallon of litter for every student. So for $1 a student, you get a gallon of trash picked up in our counties here in North Carolina. And also we go and wow the kids with all kinds of funny stuff. And yeah, that's kind of the gist of the company and how it works.
That's awesome. You are so much fun. You're just you're a fun guy, and I'm sure the kids just really enjoy.
Yeah, I've been an educator for like almost 15 years now. A teacher in public schools and in other places too. And over the years, I definitely learned the power of a story to get kids kind of hooked and kind of using their imaginations. And I think it's really powerful to kind of get messages across in sort of a fun way. It's entertaining for the kids. And I also think that I think a lot of people expect children and just young people to know this stuff. And I don't think all of them do. And I think and a lot of it I've learned over the past year. Litter Pirate's just been a company for just over a year. And even through this year, just trying to get to the bottom of where our trash goes is tricky sometimes to kind of figure it all out.
Very true. Yes.
So when you pick up that gallon of trash for the kids, you're actually out there picking it up off the side of the road and you present it to the children?
Yeah, the way we do it is we would go in and do the presentation, and then either before that event or after that event, Litter Pirate, not the kids. I mean, we could do pickups on school property, but Litter Pirate then goes usually close to the school and picks up that litter, and then we usually write the names of all the students that were sponsored on the bag, on usually one of these big DOT bags before we leave it. We also, as a company, we do other stuff too. We started a podcast this year, so we talk with other litter pickers. It's called the Litter Pirate Podcast. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, but that's been really great for me personally, just because I think I know everything, and then when I talk to everybody, I'm learning a lot. And it's not that I know everything. I thought I like had my positions on everything, but the more I talk to people in Chicago or people in other parts of the state, they kind of help me evolve on some things for sure. So we also have a litter calendar on litterpirate.com. So I'm sure, like you on Facebook, I follow the River Keepers, and I followed the Coastal Federation, and I followed Surfrider, Bogue Banks, and I followed all these people. And I thought it'd be cool to put their events all in one calendar. So a simple thing, but we put it on litterpirate.com. Of course, right now it's sort of everything's on hold. Yeah. But still, once things get back to normal, it's a great place to go if you just want to look at the month and see what picks are going on around you that you might want to volunteer with.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think this is outstanding. What's the biggest question you get from kids most of the time?
I think I think a lot of kids and adults don't understand that trash and waste in a landfill is very different than it on the side of the road. And I think some people may justify a gum wrapper or a cigarette butt throwing it on the roadside, saying, well, it's going to go in the ground anyways. So what's the difference?
Oh,
And just FYI world, like there's a huge difference. Our landfills are sealed, and we have a little bit in the assembly about a mummy, and that's just because trash that goes in a landfill basically gets mummified, like it decomposes to a certain extent, and then it gets just frozen in time for years. But a lot, and landfills are managed, and it's just
Right.
yeah, I would say that's one of the big misconceptions about it all. Another one would be how much litter is actually out there.
hmm
And I think usually if you're driving along the road and you see a little bit of litter, if you can see some litter, usually it's way worse than you think.
Mm.
And there's a lot of stats on the DOT keeps really great stats on how much litter is picked up in the state by various groups, but it's kind of, it would be a lot, but there's not a lot of studies that show how much is actually being littered. And it's a lot. It's a lot. We just did a pick in Onslow County where we picked up, I can't even believe it's true. I have the pictures, but I can't believe it's true. But in 0.2 of a mile, so just 0.2 of a mile, we picked up, these are roughly 33 gallon bags. We picked up 51 of these bags so far this year. And some of those picks were back to back. So we did the pick and cleared that 0.2 of a mile. And then we went back the next day and counted, marked 77 pieces of litter. And this was 2 weeks ago, by the way. This was during quarantine when there's
Oh my goodness.
not a lot open, not a lot going on. And there you have like 70, just in one day, 77 pieces in that little tiny stretch.
Wow.
Wow.
It's part of the reason why I started Litter Pirate, because I've always been a litter picker, but I just, when you have stats like that, I feel like there needs to be some people in the community doing different things to get at that same problem of
Yeah.
litter.
Yeah. That's great. Well, I love your imagination. I love your message for the kids. And I think that it's fantastic that you're able to go around and entertain them and educate them all at the same time. I'm sure that the children, after they hear you, are like, wow, really paying attention and looking around their neighborhoods and seeing how they might be able to improve things. So thanks for all you're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're welcome.
And I bet you they're going home and teaching their parents. So
Yeah, I heard. I did. In the waiting room, I did hear you guys talking about that. That is, that's kind of the idea. Kids kind of, and you know what, kids, you can make sense. It's really
Mm-hmm.
easy to make sense to kids because they're pretty, they're pure in how they see things. So once you present it, it's kind of an obvious choice for them.
Yeah. Well, great. Thanks so much
Yay.
for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Great seeing you, Paul.
All right,
want
keep
to
up the good work. Thanks,
Bye.
Wendy.
Thanks.
Have a great day. Happy
you
Earth
too.
Day.
Take care. Arg. Oh my goodness, he's out to take the trash out. Thank God he's wearing pants.
Okay. Paula is here. She must have had some technical difficulties, but let's see. Carol's in the waiting room, so we'll bring Paula in first. How's that sound?
There you go.
Okay.
All right, Paula's here.
Yes.
And her mic's open. There we go.
Okay, I need to charge my computer, so give me 1 sec, but go
Okay.
continue. I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you. Do you see me?
Nope, we can't see you. You might have to turn your camera on.
It's always on. How do I do that?
There's a little thing over, let me see where it is. It's over on the left side of your screen when you scroll down, and there's a camera, and if it might have a
It
black
says video.
right
Stop
video. Yep. And
So I
you
just
wanna-
hit it?
Yep, just hit that and you should come back up. Right now we've got a P for you, but
I know, I see.
there
Huh.
we'll go. Well, if you
Keep
can't get
her,
your video,
Paula.
that's okay. At least we can still talk to you, Paula, while you're working that through.
I don't know. Microphone speakers test. We're running a little late. I don't know what else to do. Start video.
That's okay. That's all right. We'll just talk. We're fine. We're still glad you're here.
Okay.
I think your camera may be off somehow because we've got.
I don't know because it was on before.
Yeah. Okay. Well, talk to us about
Garden Club.
the Garden Club. Yes.
Okay. Because it's annoying me that I can't do this because we're running late anyway. Well, I was telling Wendy that really I'm the president of Trentwood's Garden Club, and every day is Earth Day for us. It really is, because we are always involved in encouraging recycling, reusing, reducing. We do a lot of programs. We work with children over at Oaks Road Academy, but we also work with the old folks and with our own members. We have programs that encompass, people think of a garden club and some people just think it's just flowers. Well, it isn't. We talk about the environment, ecology. We have people who come in for programs for native plantings. We've had, of course, we've had Tom Glasgow. We've had dear old trash lady, Bobby Waters.
Oh, Bobby, yeah.
Yep.
Yes. And I'm sorry that I don't know what to do about the video.
Don't worry about the video.
It's okay. We
just
can
have
hear
to
you.
Talk to you.
Okay.
It's
I
driving
see
you
it up
crazy.
there, but I just don't know what to do.
So, okay. So Paula, so you're saying every day is Earth Day. So how do you think about Earth Day as you go through your day? What are
Well,
the
for instance,
Take us-
and this is with a lot of our members, what we're doing is we're working on our gardens. And what do? We are using the compost from over at Tuscarora. We're using Ag Services, which is another service where you're getting compost.
Craven Ag Services, great company.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And we're always sharing. Someone called me. I have a lot of people who call me and they offer me plants and seeds. And so they're not even garden club people. And they said, would you like some Confederate rose canes? And I go, oh yeah, whatever. And so I went over there and there were like 45 canes, but they weren't little sticks. They were canes that were rooted. They're about 4 feet and they have leaves.
Wow.
And I sent a message out to our garden club. We have 55 members. And of course, had to explain what a Confederate rose is because it's a big tree. And anyway, but they were swooshed up. I mean, I only have a few left and I was very happy. And another gentleman was working on a blackberry lily. He was getting the seeds out of the plants for us and he shared them. We also planted a tree for Arbor Day. He just told us we planted one down at Cottle Park at here in Trent Woods, and the tree is doing very well. And we planted one out at Oaks Road Academy. In fact, we do Arbor Day every year out there. We work with a second grade class, and we give the history of Arbor Day, and we explain the need for trees and why we have trees. And we try to put a native one in because that's the one that's going to last the longest. We also encourage Plant America, which is planting a tree. We want to try to get everyone in America to plant one tree. And that will break down and help with the emissions, et cetera, oxygen in the air. We also have, let me look at my little notes here. We're also planting bushes, shrubs, and for pollination. We have programs on birds, bees, and butterflies.
Nice.
We work with one group of, let's say, residents, special residents, and we have them make the bird feeders from pine cones, which we pick up from the yards. And they enjoy watching the birds come. But of course, with the children and with our adult members, we also give programs about bees or birds and butterflies, depending on the month. We use recycled items often because we use newspapers, we use coffee mugs because we have the residents of nursing homes and our little ones make little designs with flowers and greens. Now, you can go to the store and buy flowers, but I prefer to go to my garden and our gardens, and we do all of our pruning. And we usually do this once a month or every other week, and we prune and we clip and we use our greens and we make designs either in the mugs with the old folks, or we do it with the children or our own homes. In fact, we had a challenge this month is what can you do with your garden? Because, some people have iris and things in the gardens, but some people don't even have flowers yet. And so we had a little contest going there. We had an herb sale. We just finished our herb sale last week. It was wonderful. It was all pre-ordered, as some of the other clubs do, pre-order flowers and bulbs, etc. But we did a little different because we're trying to save, because of the coronavirus, etc., that we had only 5 of us sorted over 800 plants.
Wow.
And then, and the orders, there were 71 orders. Then we had another 5 members, well, some of them overlap, and we delivered the plants to the doorsteps or the garages of all the people who ordered. So no one had to come out and, but then they enjoyed planting their herbs.
That's fantastic. Wow. Thank you, Paul. That's awesome.
That is.
And the other thing we did is we do clean sweep. We participate in that twice a year. But what maybe a lot of our members aren't able to go out into the roadways to do that. But what we do is we teach the children, and I think that's our future gardeners. And we teach the children about Woodsy Owl, who says, lend a hand, care for the land, and give a hoot, don't pollute. And,
there you go.
Oaks Road Academy, their playground is the cleanest around because they know that they're making Woodsy happy.
Oh.
And then we also do conservation of our waterways, and that's for no littering and no polluting. And we concentrate on that. And one last thing I'd like to mention is that our club, which is Trentwood's Garden Club, which is connected to, of course, the National Garden Club, is our major project is the Blue Star Memorial and Highway markers. We put two in town, one at Trentwood's in a little one there, where our members maintain that with the native plants. Then we put one out on Clark's Road at Highway 70.
The rest area there.
The rest area. Yep. And NC DOT maintains the gardens with, in association with the Garden Club in North Carolina. So we are always trying to do things for everyone. And we're hoping that our members bring this forward to their neighbors, their friends, their family, and the children. When we meet the children in stores, when we will do, they'll remember that this is what gardening is all about, is to sharing and to reuse and recycle and reduce and think of everyone of the world. And that's what we do with Trentwood's Garden Club.
Well, that's fantastic. That was a great introduction to Trentwood Garden Club. That's marvelous to tell us all the things that you're involved in.
Yeah. Paul, I really appreciate you joining us at the last minute, but that's terrific information. And
I'm just sorry about, I just can't figure out because I haven't done anything, and the darn camera, it says stop video, but I don't know how to start it. So. You know what?
This technology, I'll tell you.
I know. Well, Wendy, you're the one that said you've never done. Okay, here I am. I just saw it. So anyway, that's what I look like.
Now we know. Now the world knows.
Yeah.
That's
It's
wonderful.
great seeing you. It's been too long. So
Well-
this is a great way, at least for us to catch up, you
That's
know.
right. That's
on
right. And I
video.
really appreciate the opportunity. And we were very excited that we could do something like this. And I think Earth Day, people really have to realize every day is Earth Day, and do the best you can for
Yes.
the environment. Okay?
Very well said. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
I
Paul.
really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day and stay
Okay.
safe.
Yeah. And now what do I do now?
You can just leave the meeting. 'Cause there's
Okay, how do I do that?
there's a when you scroll down, it'll give you the option to leave the meeting.
Okay.
Over on the very right hand side, it's in red.
It says end meeting.
Mm.
Oh, no. Don't end meeting.
No, don't end me.
No, it says leave meeting. If you're on a PC, you've got a
I'm on a I'm on a computer. Yeah.
okay, yep. And when you scroll down, there's a little bar that pops up, and at the very far end, it says leave meeting.
All right. Do I have to, because I'm already out?
Oh, can I press remove?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
There
All
you
right,
go.
we're learning
Take care.
together.
All right.
Bye,
Thanks.
Paula.
Okay,
Have a
bye.
great day.
See you here.
Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye. Do you want to remove? Okay,
There
there
you
we go. We're getting there. Well, at least we got to see your smiley face. So.
There, yeah, we finally figured it out. It all worked out. It's great, you know.
Yeah.
Just
and-
remember, this is a great thing to do for Earth Day because we didn't have to travel. We didn't have to get in our little cars. We didn't all have to gather somewhere. And, you know, I mean, it's great that we're able to gather through the internet and talk about Earth Day and think more about how we can do things a little cleaner and
Yes.
easier. So
Yes.
now we'll learn Zoom better and we'll be wonderful.
We'll be, yeah. All right, now we have, I'm pretty sure it's Carol. It says Don Osler, but I
bet
think
it's
it's
Carol.
Carol. So I'm going to admit. And once again, if people
Hey, Carol.
are watching, please feel free to ask Carol any questions. Hi, Carol. Thank you for joining us. And are you there?
I'm here.
There
Yep,
we go.
she's
Okay,
there
got
we go.
sound.
Super. So you're with the Carolina Nature Coalition. You can't hear us.
I can hear you. I thought there was. Hi.
No. Okay, so
Hi.
tell us about your organization.
Seems to have some kind of a double conversation going on. We're sounding okay.
Okay, we don't have any control over what you're hearing.
Is your volume on your computer turned way up? That could be a problem.
Okay, I'm going to start talking. I'm Carol
go.
Osler, and I am with the Carolina. It's a double conversation going on, honey. Maybe we can bear with us a minute.
Hi, Don.
That's right. Oop.
Okay, is that any better?
This is so weird.
Your audio might be getting fed from another area, so you have to select where you're getting your audio from.
We learn something new every day.
It
Then-
almost is like I'm recording, hearing chat from. Well, we can give it a try.
There you go.
Okay.
So tell us about Carolina Nature Coalition.
Okay, let's tell you about the coalition. Yeah. It's Carol, and I'm with the Carolina Nature Coalition. And I have been with the group for 6 years now. We are holding presentations monthly. The things that we're doing are films, speakers. I'm sorry, ladies, this is so tough because it's double speaking back.
Maybe if you take off your headset and work without it.
Let's try that.
Yeah. Now, can you hear the computer?
Almost like we're on here double. Hold on.
That's a lot of that's a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
Thank you for being patient, everyone on Facebook Live. Let us know if you have any questions, comments. What are you doing today?
Well, I'll tell you what, if I wasn't trapped here at home like the rest of us, I would be at the beach today. How about you?
I would be in the
Are
crow
they
town.
chatting? Go ahead. I think I might have straightened it out. I think I had 2 meetings. There seems like there's 2 meetings. Bear with me, ladies.
There we go.
Okay, we can give it a try again.
There you go.
Okay. There we go.
Carolina Nature Coalition.
You're good.
Don, there's definitely a double recording going on. And
Nope, we've still got that problem with the audio. You know what? Why don't how's that? Anything better? Can you hear me now? I feel like I'm a commercial. Like, which was that for?
AT&T or Sprint, I think. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Mike, I'm not sure. Is he the vice president, Mike Schlotzer?
Michael Schachter. I'm actually
Schachter.
going to give this a try, ladies.
There you go. You sound good. Okay, there we go.
I'm going to give it a try. There is a double recording going on, but let's not worry. I'm going to speak over it.
There you go.
I'm Carol from the Carolina Nature Coalition. And I am Carolina Nature Coalition. We've been at it for 6 years, and we do films, speakers, such as Katie and the Pirates, the Litter Pirate, and we do field trips. We have a website. It's carolinanaturecoalition.org. And if you go out there, you'll be able to read our mission statement, and you'll also be able to see our up and coming events and our past events. And we can also let you sign up, and you'll receive our future shout outs to let you know what's up and coming. I'm very pleased to be here today to share a few things that we have to help you reduce your environmental impact. First thing, one of my favorite things is this veggie bag. And you can buy these online. And you simply go to the grocery store with this veggie bag, put your produce in here, pay for it, bring this home, wash it, and then let it dry a little bit, put it in your refrigerator, keeps the refrigerator cleaner, but your vegetables love living in here. They love it. They stay fresher and nicer. This is a sad part. We have gotten used to going to the grocery store, and we have gotten used to pulling those plastic bags. Yeah. Do you realize we pull 2 million a minute?
Oh my gosh.
It's gotta stop. We cannot do this. It's outrageous. Of course, everybody's using the plastic bag. Just find a way to get these in the car, okay, and make a difference. Mm-hmm. Moving along, I found something else that's really great. This is a ball mason jar. So important to stay hydrated, okay? This is a 6-ounce jar. You can buy these in packages of 4. Put one by the television, put one by your desk where you read, put it in the car. Put it in your favorite, by your bed, fill it with water, stay hydrated. The lid is sold separate. There it is, and it's really easy to sanitize. Somewhere I had the straw. Of course, you guys know about the straw, okay? Okay, folks, Christmas time. We bought ourselves paper napkins. We bought ourselves, I'm sorry, cloth napkins. Yeah. So the cloth napkin is all folded up and it is at our table. We're getting 2 or 3 uses out of this napkin.
Yep.
No paper products right now in the store. There are none. We're loving the fact that these are here and they're reducing our environmental impact.
Yes.
Also saving us money.
Absolutely.
Few more items here. Let's go back to some of the things we did when we were young. Let's line our garbage pails with a paper bag.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies? Use them for other things. Who remembers
Wax
paper?
Wax paper, there you go.
Hey, make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and learn how to wrap this up like we used to do it. Biodegradable wax paper. I've got one more thing.
And there's one more thing. Where's that come from?
I hate those balloons. When you're celebrating, you fill up those balloons and off they go into the environment. It's terrible. Let's use flowers instead to celebrate.
Sounds good to me.
Great idea.
This hasn't been easy because it's been a double feedback the whole time. It's okay.
You're doing great, though.
I do actually have a poem to read if you want me to read it.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Would you love to read a poem? Yeah. Okay, folks, this is a lovely poem. It's written by a woman by the name of Katie O'Meara. She's a blogger from Madison, Wisconsin. Thank you. And people stayed at home and they read books and they listened and they rested and they did exercise and they made art and they played and learned new ways of being and stopped and listened deeper. Someone meditated, someone prayed, someone danced, someone met their shadow. And people began to think differently. And people healed. And in the absence of people who live in ignorant ways, dangerous, meaningless, and heartless, even the earth began to heal. And when the danger ended, people found each other. And they grieved for the dead. And they made new choices. And they dreamed new visions, and they created of new ways of life, and they healed the earth completely, just as they healed themselves.
Lovely. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you for
you,
joining
ladies.
us.
Thank you.
And I just have to say, the Carolina Nature Coalition, visit their website because they did a Earth Day celebration, their own celebration, and it's a video. So please check them out, support them, volunteer, donate. We really appreciate you joining us today. So
Thanks, ladies. I'm sorry that we had a little confusion.
it happens. It's life.
We're all being continual learners.
Yes.
Exactly.
All right.
Take care.
Stay well. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Let's see here. How do I do it?
There you go.
Okay. All right. All right.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. We've got a lot of comments. Oh my gosh. It's almost 3 o'clock.
I know.
Holy moly.
That was great.
My sister Cher said, beautiful poem. Thank you for sharing. Well,
Oh,
I can't. A lot of people tuned in. This is a last minute fly by the seat of my pants. Thank you, Jane, because you always save the day. And yes, I really appreciate you. And if you don't know Jane, Jane is the reactive voice. She makes sense. Come on,
she
Wendy.
delivers words that make sense.
Delivers words that make sense. Yes.
Thanks, Wendy.
I'll get it right one of these days.
It's okay.
So, but any closing? Let's see.
I think we have a marvelous collection of people for resources and encouragement and information to keep up Earth Day for every day. I think just, the bit that Carol gave us about those veggie bags, I had heard about them, but I normally don't even bother to take a plastic bag, but I love the idea that those will keep my vegetables fresh longer. That's an even better benefit aside, from, of course, not having to use plastic. I just think we've got some great information from all of our guests. It was really wonderful. And I'm so grateful to you, Wendy, for putting this together. I know you're saying it's last minute, but these things are in your brain. And maybe the invitation came
I
last.
can't shut it off.
You pondered it and you figured it all out and you pulled in people to present these great messages. And I think that's wonderful. And that's why anytime Wendy asks you to do something, your answer is always yes, because she's working for the good of our community. And, we all need to support her. And this is just a wonderful thing that you're doing for us. So, and the litter pirate, oh my gosh,
I love
just
him.
imagine that when he walks into the room, the kids are just mesmerized. I mean, I was impressed. So I think his message is marvelous, and getting it out to our youth is the best way to go. It's planting those little seeds that grow bigger later on, and they bring them home to us too, and plant the seeds with us as well. So this is great. This is a wonderful thing you did, Wendy. Nice work.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And before we go, one last thing. If you didn't hear before, okay, this is a Harris Teeter bag, but it's one of those reusable bags, grocery bags. I have at least 50 of them from last year's Earth Day. Send me an email with your address or phone number, or both, so we can connect and I can give them to you. We're going to be giving away to everyone who comments that until we run out. So thank you. We wish you well. And Jane, anything good?
No, any other comments that we should be aware of that are on Facebook?
No,
Anybody
but
else talking to us?
I really appreciate all the comments and likes and thank you everyone for joining us today.
Thanks for playing.
It was fun. It was fun actually,
It was.
Yeah, playing.
We'll
Let's
get the
play more
technology down.
often. So yeah,
Yeah.
we got it going and we're going to start doing the podcast, and I'm not going to ramble, but y'all have a wonderful day and happy Earth Day. So,
Happy Earth Day.
every day, right?
Every day.
Happy Earth Day every day.
Every day.
Okay.
There you go. All right. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.